Hello, welcome to Verbling. Hi there, I'm teacher Oakley here at last. Had some technical difficulties, but all right. In today's class, we're going to continue our series. This is be the last class of the series about IELTS speaking and IELTS speaking test practice. Today, we're going to look at question part number 3, which is opinion questions. And of course, in this section of the test, you'll be asked to basically give your opinions and support them, most importantly. All right, in this section of the test, let me just explain something about part 3 in the IELTS speaking test. Part 1, all right, you're responding as in an interview, you're answering questions. The interviewer is marking your score. In part 2, you're doing the long turn. You're speaking for 2 minutes consecutively. By the time it rolls around to part 3, from everything I've read, the interviewer has pretty much nailed your score, or he knows pretty much where you're going to end up. He is now, by the time you get to part 3, he is adjusting your score. He's trying to give you the opportunity to use some higher level English, sentence structures, vocabulary, organization, in order that he may bump up your score a half a band or maybe a whole band if you do well. That being said, in part 3, the interviewer actually has complete control. He doesn't have pre-written questions. He may have some for examples, but he knows where your gaps are. He hasn't been able to form the test taker hasn't been able to form a future tense, or can't use modals, or doesn't know how to do a perfect tense, or can't do comparative statements. He knows where your weaknesses are, and he's going to go right for them because he wants you to give you an opportunity to hit those things so he can check his little boxes and bump you up in your band score. So, part 3 questions are going to be harder. Count on it, because he wants to hear you do things you have not done as yet. There are certain types of questions that you're probably most likely going to hear, and we are going to practice them today. Okay, let me say hello now that I've done my intro. Julio, hello.
Hello, Oakley.
Julio, hi, long time no see.
It's been a while, yeah.
Yeah, were we in another hangout all together briefly before I restarted this one? I was sent
Yeah.
it to Google Limbo, and I think you were there.
Yes.
Okay, you were there with me. Yeah.
Hi.
Okay. Julio, hello. Oh, okay. Wow. Now I'm getting echo. Let me,
Yeah, there's a
yeah,
kind of an
Venice.
echo.
Yeah, Venice. Briefly. Venice, are you? Hi, Venice. I think you have. I think you have the Verbling window open. If you want to just close the Verbling window, because we can hear me delayed from 30 seconds ago or a minute ago broadcasting over your microphone. So just close the Verbling window, and that will take care of that. Okay? And then all we hear is you. Okay? Well, hi, Venice.
Hi.
If you have closed it, there we go.
Okay.
Yes, no echo. We're good. All right.
Thank you.
Hi. Okay, where are you from, Venice?
I'm from Bulgaria.
Okay. Cool beans. All right. Welcome to the class.
Thank you.
Do you have plans to take an IELTS test in the future?
Yes, very soon.
Very soon.
Yeah, I have 2
Very
weeks.
soon. First of all, very soon. Vicious vampires. Vacuum cleaners. Okay. Make sure you can pronounce your V's. There's your first tip of the day. Okay, Venice, I'm going to get back to you and let you practice. Let me quickly say hi to some others, and then we'll get to the meat of the class and do some practice answering questions. Hi, Aaron.
Hi, Oakley.
Hey, nice to see you again.
Nice to
How are
see you
you?
too. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Okay, and hello, Nader.
Hi, happy to see you again.
Okay, good. We're audio. We're audible.
Audio for temporary.
Temporary. Okay.
Yes.
Only temporary? You've got to go soon?
Yes, I have to prepare for work. Then I'll meet you there typing.
Okay. All right. You want to try a question since you won't be able to, obviously this is kind of requires audio. I'll allow you to try the first question if you're
Okay,
got
thank
time.
you.
Sure. Okay. Now imagine in the part 2 question you have had to describe something about a journey, a trip, a vacation. All right. Most likely in part 3, sometimes to a more or lesser degree, the topic is going to follow the same line. Sometimes it's a bit of a stretch, all right? But in general, part 3 topic will follow part 2. So imagine we've finished part 2 and we've been talking about tourism in general.
Yes, I'm tired by now.
Okay, and you're tired by now. This is true. Right. Okay, your first question is very often going to be kind of a trap question, a very general question about the topic, both to introduce the topic and kind of a trap. So hint, hint, they'll ask a very general question, but really don't fall in the trap. You don't want to give an extremely general answer. Try to use specific examples from your own experience or use some detail. Always, always, always in the IELTS test, detail, detail, detail. This is how you're going to get your score. So, Nader, what do people learn from traveling?
You asking me?
Nader.
Okay.
Hold on.
Okay, yeah. I would say people learn a lot from traveling. In Egypt, we say traveling has 7 benefits. So you can meet new friends, you can see new places, you can learn a lot from different cultures. From my own experience, I found traveling to be extremely beneficial for me. I've worked abroad for many years, and I found that learning about new countries and having interaction with different cultures, especially if you work in a multinational company, you will learn a lot from different people who have different mentalities and different backgrounds. So I found traveling to be very, very good. If you can afford it, go for it. If you can't, at least try to watch as many videos or documentaries about other countries. So it's traveling is like reading a book, but living the experience itself.
Okay. Wow, that was an excellent example. Thank you, Nader. Bow to your prowess. That was excellent. Okay, what was...
Thank you.
Let me kind of analyze this for the rest of the class and viewers. Look, what did he do? First of all, number 1, he paraphrased the question. The question, what do people learn from traveling? He said, well, people can learn a great deal from traveling. Okay. He said back the question in a slightly different way to introduce his answer. This is necessary in IELTS. They need to hear you do this 3 or 4 times not just once, but 3 or 4 times during the entire test, at least, so they know you can do this. You have the skill. All right. Secondly, I love it. If you want to say, oh, we have a saying in my country. We have a saying in Egypt. Great. You want to give a saying or a quote in order to illustrate your point as an example? Terrific. And not only he didn't stop there, he also said, from my own experience. Great. If during the course of your entire interview you can give examples from your own experience, keep in mind it does not matter if you're telling the truth or you're just making stuff up. It really doesn't matter. All right, you can say, from my own experience, the last time I took a trip to Mars, I found the ground to be dry and dusty, and the red dust made my eyes water periodically as I strode across the Martian plains. Who gives a crap, okay? To be frank, the idea is you're trying to give a lot of detail and be expressive about it. So, terrific. Okay, I heard from my own experience, especially if you can do this. These are transitionals. He's introducing his statement by using short words or phrases to introduce what he's saying. Another thing that IELTS requires you to do. The most basic way to do it is to say, in my opinion, blah, 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 first of all. Secondly, finally. Okay, that's a very basic way to do it. If you can do it with more colorful, if you will, more unique to you kind of expressions instead of the same old standards, great for you. He also made it very clear that he was done speaking. His final sentence was a summary. He did not necessarily use to summarize, or in conclusion, I would say, you can do that, and that's good, but he did it in a different way, but it was quite evident that his speaking was over. I didn't have to guess. All right, so he gave me a clear paraphrase, topic sentence. He made a couple points. He used personal experience. He used a saying. He expressed his opinion. If you can, go for it. If you can't, you can do this. All right, so he gave me an a comparative statement. Everything was there. That's great. Can really ask for much better than that. Terrific job and a good example. Thank you again, Adair. That was absolutely wonderful. Couldn't have done better.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. And thank you, everyone, for allowing Nader to go first, because he's got to get going. So I appreciate that, everybody. That's very kind of you all. Julio, are you ready to step up to the plate?
Shoot.
Shoot. Okay. All right. Do you think the growth of international tourism is a good thing?
Well, in my opinion, I think it's a terrible thing. I don't like foreigners being here in my country, polluting everything. And they usually come here and only, they visit the beaches. And there is a very nice beach near my house. And I don't like to see these Americans with their skin toasted, completely red, and dressing with ridiculous shorts and sandals and these big backpacks. And sometimes I approach them and I talk to them because I want to practice my English, but they are so self-centered and they just see me as an ignorant local. So I really hate these kind of people, and I wish They never come to my country, and I will never visit them because I think United States is it's a very racist country, and I don't like people looking down on me. Therefore, I wish everybody just stay in their own countries and let us live our peaceful and quiet lives.
Bravo, bravo. Very nice. Okay, that was also another excellent example. Okay, you don't have to be all skipping through the meadow with a bunch of flowers in your hand when you take the IELTS test. This is not required, not at all. Okay, a negative opinion, but well spoken. Nice job. Okay, again, all right, he attacked the paraphrase by clearly using a signal phrase, in my opinion, and he just took right off. That's fine, but he did. It's very okay, in my opinion. Da 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 da. Stopped, and then started giving his reasons. Try not to say, in my opinion, I don't think so because blah 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 blah, and start giving your reasons in the same sentence. Make sure that that topic sentence is a separate entity, is a separate thing before you launch into your reasons and examples. Again, I got a very nice personal, an example from personal experience. I go to the beach and I see the Americans dressing ridiculous. It should be dressing ridiculously, by the way. Okay, it should have been an adverb there, but okay. Other than that, that's really the only little glitch that I heard, actually. And then very clear conclusion. Obviously, he was done speaking. He said, therefore. There's that signal phrase I need to hear. Therefore, I wish everyone would stay in their own country. Ha ha. Ha ha. As I, an American, talk to you from beautiful Philippines. Meh, meh. Don't listen to Julio. Julio, great job. Nice job. That was actually quite good. Thank you very much. Salute. All right. Okay. Excellent job. Well, you guys are all good. Aaron, you ready to give it a try? I honestly hope you make some mistakes so I have something to teach. You guys, so far, everyone's been really terrific.
Yeah,
So,
I'm sure I'm gonna make some mistakes.
I hope so. Okay.
Let's do it.
All right, let's give it a shot. How has tourism changed the way people in your country live?
Well, I can begin by saying that it hasn't changed too much. Talking about the capital, we still are the same. We are living the same lives. Maybe looking at some tourists, maybe in the downtown, but not so much. Foreign people come here mainly because of to watch, maybe to visit Machu Picchu, which is located in the southern part of Peru. They kind of come here, but maybe to make a connective flight to Cusco. And well, from my experience, when I went to Cusco once, I can tell you that there are a lot of people from all over the world. What I can guess is that Peruvian people out there in Cusco maybe has changed their lives by being more commercial, if I can say that, to this whole boom of tourism has allowed them to to make their own business, you know, selling a lot of handcrafts, maybe souvenirs and of all sort of things related to Machu Picchu. I think that's the way it has changed here in Peru. It's
Okay.
how to say, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Uh, yeah. Okay. Well, one small thing. Obviously, handicrafts. Okay. You missed a syllable. So I heard handcrafts. Julio heard handcrafts, but
Yeah.
handicrafts. Okay. But on the other hand, on the upside of that, handicrafts, souvenirs, these are very topic related. Clearly, souvenirs is related to tourism. These are bonus points for you in the IELTS test. You want to be using very much topic related vocabulary. So I think you managed to do that. Connecting flights, even better than topic related vocabulary, are topic related collocations. All right, more than one word that go together. Believe it or not, connecting flights would definitely score you points. You know, it sounds kind of silly, but also, okay, it is definitely okay to use maybe, probably, could be, that. All right, it is, not only is it okay, at some point in the test you're going to have a would question. Would you do this if you had a chance? Would you do that? In which case they're actually fishing for you to use modals. All right, they want you to use modals and adverbs like possibly, probably, maybe. All right, and modals like well, could, it may, it might. Okay, so don't be afraid of using that kind of language, those kinds of words. If I can say that, for example, was actually good. You know, it may seem like, oh, okay, didn't know what to say, so he said, well, I'm unsure of this, if I can say that. Yeah, you can say that because it's actually very natural to do that, to clarify information. It's a common phrase. So in fact, that kind of a phrase to clarify information, what I mean by that is, or to clarify, what I actually mean is, or if I can say that, these kinds of phrases to clarify information, these are another kind of transitional. And you can't really overload your speech with these kind of signal words and signal phrases. You can't do too much. What you can do is use the same one or one, two, or three over and over and over again. That's bad. If during the series of the test you're using the same, first of all, or moreover, this is not good. So avoid that. I didn't hear any repetition there. Overall, that was also very good. Possibly could have been organized a little better. Possibly the fluency could be slightly better, Aaron. There was a little bit of pausing. Mostly you covered it well by stretching vowel sounds while you're trying to think of what you were going to say. All right, like that. I'm not sure what I'm going to say next, so I stretch the vowel sounds. Actually, that's okay. That's much better than repeating or long pauses or self-correction. So, you know, actually, all in all, good strategy. Solid 7 at least as a band score. So, it's a solid answer. All right, not top of the line, but pretty good actually. Everyone's really good today. Okay.
I got a question.
Yeah. Shoot.
I remember when you were teaching us about the TOEFL speaking part, that you were mentioning that the structure that we needed to follow, You know, start with a introduction, then give the points, you know, three or two or three, depends on the time, and then the conclusion. So do we have to follow the same pattern here?
Basically, yeah. Basically, it's the same thing, really. You know, you're especially part 3 questions. It's very similar to writing, actually, in you know, typical paragraph structure. Basically, exactly what you just said. Yeah, typical paragraph structure for writing. You have your topic sentence, your supporting ideas, and then your concluding sentence. And that's basically what you're doing in part 3. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Now, of course, with speaking, you're allowed to make more variation, you know. Like Nader's example at the beginning. You know, we have a saying, and he said something about that. And really, he gave examples to make his point, right? He didn't say the first reason is, the second reason is. So you don't have to stick with like reason, example, reason, example. You don't have to be so kind of, I don't know, neurotically structured about it. But and it's okay to repeat information, especially in speaking. It's okay to give redundant information, but say it in a different way. That's okay because it's natural to speakers. It's not really okay to do that when you're writing, but when you're speaking, it's okay. Speaking is a bit more forgiving than writing, but yes, the basic structure is the same. Okay. Hopefully that answered your question. Venice.
Yes. Okay.
Okay, your question. What is the square root of 1,443,000?
What is
Just kidding.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, all right. No, I'm just joking with you. Okay, Venice. It's going to be very, very probably likely you will receive the kind of question which I'm going to ask you right now, which will ask you to do comparison and contrast, or specifically contrast. I'm going to ask you a question about plane travel, airplane travel. All right, what are the advantages and disadvantages of traveling by plane?
Some people think that it can be dangerous, and it's also more expensive than using cars or buses. But at the same time, it's the most fastest. It's the fastest. I don't know, transport, and a lot of people using it nowadays because of that. It also have very good food, and a lot of we can do fun where like to watch TV or a movie. It's also safe, and people who works there are really nice to speak with. So I prefer plane than buses, and that's it actually.
Okay. Hold your horses. Slow down there. Venice, slow down. You need to relax a little bit here, okay? All right. I didn't really, you launched right into your reasons. You were very eager to make all your points. Slow down a little. Relax. Have a drink. Put your feet up. Okay. Okay. Give you know, you need to have a topic sentence here. Okay. How could you paraphrase it? How could you paraphrase the question? Let's keep it basic, Venice.
Positive and negative things about plane.
Yeah. Okay. Right. So how could you start by giving me a paraphrase topic sentences? topic sentence. What are the advantages and disadvantages of traveling by plane? Instead of launching right into the reasons, some people say it's dangerous. Instead of doing that, a topic sentence. Okay, pluses and minuses. You could say something like, well, there are several pluses and several minuses to traveling by plane, to flying. Okay, better if you change the words, use synonyms, something like that. Even keep it short, concise, a simple sentence. Absolutely, it should be a simple sentence. You can worry about compound, complex sentences later. Keep your topic sentence nice and simple and straightforward. Actually, I recommend that for writing as well. When you're gonna put your opinion out there in your task 2 writing, don't get all crazy and artistic on yourself. All right, keep it simple. In my opinion, this is a stupid idea. Well, fine, just say that. In my opinion, due to the circumstances that are current in our economy and in sociologically speaking, in these certain situations, I don't think it's a good idea. Don't get all crazy like that. Keep your topic sentences simple. Okay? All right. All right, some points. Okay, you had a lot of points. You had a lot of great points, but you basically were listing them. Don't take them one at a time and take a little time with them, okay? You started with disadvantages. That's fine. No problem. But you need to have an order. You need to be organized. Start with disadvantages, then go to advantages. That's okay. Or you can go, that's one strategy, or you can go back and forth. Okay? Some people say it's very dangerous, but according to what I've read, traveling by plane is actually the safest mode of transportation. Some people like the efficiency in getting places very quickly, but on the other hand, I myself prefer to travel by train so that I can see the beautiful views and see what the landscape is actually like. You can go back and forth. That's one strategy. It's a little more difficult. It does allow you the opportunity to use more transitionals. But on the other hand, however, use these kinds of contrast signal phrases. And, okay, if you want to keep it simple, just do one at a time. Disadvantages. Okay, some people say that it's very dangerous. Another point is that, whatever, I forgot everything you said, but it wastes a lot of fuel. A third point could possibly be that some people say, okay, use signal phrases to introduce each idea. And then if you can give an extra sentence to be more specific, for example, about your personal experience, or, by the way, you can always use made-up references. Don't be, again, everything doesn't have to be, you know, no one's going to check your documentation or check your references. You're not doing your, you know, dissertation for your doctorate or anything here. It's an IELTS test. So don't worry if you say, oh, some people say, or I recently read a study in which it showed that, you know, mice with half their brain removed prefer to travel by plane. Fine, you want to make up crazy things, then go right ahead and cite references that don't even exist. Go right ahead, doesn't matter. It's a good, easy way to give extra detail. Okay, a couple nitpicky things. Well, you self-corrected, so you got it right. But so you know this, but you can't say most fastest. You changed. You said you self-corrected, and then you said the fastest, which is correct. Mode of transportation. I think you got stuck for a second. It's the best. Yeah, maybe mode of transportation would be good. Way to travel. You know, there's a You know, you can go the simpler way if you can't think of the word. Just say way to travel. Okay. I really would have loved to hear, on the other hand, however, this is really one thing they're very much looking for in this question. They're looking for, do you know how to use transitionals to give contrasting ideas? By contrast, contrarily, on the other hand, however, conversely.
Okay.
They're really looking for that. They are also looking for you to use other words for advantages and disadvantages. Okay. What are, everybody, open question for the class. What are other ways to say advantages? Shout them out. Don't be shy.
Advantages.
Maybe pros and cons.
Other
Pros.
ways.
Always. Pros. Okay. Advantages, pros. Okay. Maybe pluses. Okay. Some pluses are benefits, possibly benefits. Okay, there's at least 4. Oh, okay. And disadvantages. Okay.
Negative.
Negatives, very good. All right. Minuses, of course, as we said. Drawbacks is a good one. So if you got a advantage and disadvantage question, you know, one advantage may be, another plus is, a third benefit. Okay, you know. On the other hand, to speak of the disadvantages, I think the biggest negative is, another drawback is, and the final minus I can think of is, okay, like that. And you certainly don't need that much information. Cons, yeah, right. I forgot pros and cons, right? Okay. Anyway, right. So you're going to have to know a few of those. Okay. Julio, back to you. Let's see. All right, I have to do this before the time is up because I need to demonstrate another type of question which is extremely normal for part 3 questions, is to talk about the future. You're usually going to have a future question. Many people freak out when they get a future question because they don't know what to say. The truth is, there is no wrong or right answer in IELTS, so you can say any crazy thing that you want to say. So if they ask, what will whatever be like in the future, whatever, go nuts. Doesn't matter what you say at all. It's how you say it. Okay, so all right, Julio, how do you think tourism will change in your country in the future?
All right, let me wear my thinking cap. All right. In my opinion, as far as I'm concerned, my country is becoming very popular for drug cartels and narco traffic. So I think in the future we're going to see a big increase in what we call dark tourism. People coming to Mexico to visit dangerous places or places where massacres have occurred, and visit some of the houses of some of the drug lords that live here in my country. Also, I think in the future, uh, pot and hard drugs are going to be legal. So probably people are going to be able to take samples, and that's always going to improve the experience. You can also try one of the most popular Mexican guns, that is the AK-47. It's always a blast when you can blast something with an AK-47, and maybe some hand grenades. And obviously you can visit the local cantina, which is a Mexican bar, and drink a lot of tequila and maybe start a brawl with Mexican thought. I think that will be pretty interesting trip to my country.
Okay, in the future. Okay, quite obviously, when they, well, maybe not obviously, but when they're asking an in the future question, they want to hear future tense. Any and all, future perfect, future continuous, whatever. I at least heard from Julio the two forms of simple future. He said they will do this, they're going to be able to do something else, which is great. Okay. Another thing I want to point out. Notice, okay, at the beginning of the question, all right, maybe he didn't know what he was going to say immediately. What did he do? He said, well, let me put on my thinking cap. In my opinion, as far as I'm concerned, okay, he used a technique. Basically, he's using filler, but he's not saying well, he's not doing that, which would be very, not good. Clearly not very fluent. What he is doing, he's using a technique. Basically, he's talking without saying anything. He's using filler but whole sentences. That's okay. In fact, that's great to do at some point during the test. Definitely, you don't want to do it like every question in the test. They would notice. But doing it once or twice, actually probably a good idea. Okay. Mostly what they're looking for is those future tenses. Also, adjectives or adverbs to show uncertainty. Probably. I think I heard one or two. I think I heard they might. I think I heard probably. Not sure. I don't remember exactly, but that goes right along with the future tense thing. They're looking for that as well. All right. Great answer. Wow, sign me up, Julio. You can be my tour guide. Woohoo! Yeah, okay. Take me
You might
to
want to say
India.
goodbye to your kidney.
To your kidney? That's funny. I thought you were going to say my kids, but no, my kidneys. Okay. That's all right. I've got two. They're fully functioning. All right. Who needs them? Okay. All right. Aaron, I'll give you another one. Might as well stay on the same topic here. That's kind of the idea anyway. In part 3, they're not going to jump topics. I will say that to you. They're going to definitely stay on the same basic topic. So you don't have to worry about them jumping all over the place and having to think all, different directions. Okay, so let's stay with the same thing. Aaron, what do you think is the best way for a tourist to travel if they want to learn about your country?
Of course, it would be that would be by foot on foot, because when people go on foot, they would have the chance to ask people where to go if they get lost in somewhere, I don't know. And also, well, they would see each the city's architecture. Maybe they would like to visit some landmarks here in Lima or any other city. They also, when they will be out of town, they might see the other face of the city, maybe poor people walking on the streets, or maybe some cattle that are outside, usually outside of the of town. And well, basically that would be the main reason why that would be better to a tourist if they want to, if he wants to know people or know about the culture, to go on foot.
Okay. All right. And in this case, Aaron attacked the question directly by stating his opinion. Okay. Of course. Okay. Very good. Very good to use, by the way. Don't be shy about using intonation and expressive intonation. Of course, the best way is to go on foot. All right. Definitely, this cannot hurt your score. In fact, it will most certainly raise your score in the pronunciation category of scoring. Wow, okay, all right, of course. Use a little expressive intonation. Use expletives. Ah, jeez. Oh, I hate that question. You can say that in IELTS. It's quite all right. You're just lifting your score, as a matter of fact. That's fine. Because why? Because that's how English speakers talk. So it's okay to do that. So it gave me a little intonation. I noticed that he went for the direct opinion as his opening sentence. Possibly I might have answered that a little differently. I might have said, well, of course, there's many ways to get around here in Peru. And then, of course, I think that traveling by foot is the best way. I might have added a sentence in front of that just to be able to do a little paraphrasing. All right. So I mentioned before, you can paraphrase or you can go directly with your opinion. There's no reason you can't do both. Do a little paraphrase, then state your opinion quite clearly. Bulks up your response a little, and you're getting two things done. So don't be shy to do that. Got a little lost somewhere when you said you could get lost somewhere. somewhere, I don't know. You were lost, talking about being lost. Okay. All right. But nice recovery, Aaron. All right. You might get lost. I mean, not physically. I mean, you might get lost speaking. Suddenly not know what direction you're going. Okay. Take a half a second. Take a breath. Start in again. Plow forward, which is what Aaron did. And actually, you ended strongly. So that's good. It's important to end strongly and not kind of peter out. That's not good. You don't want to just deflate like a balloon. Really, Aaron, you might walk to the edge of town and see the cattle on the edge of town. I'll tell you something. Aaron, you should come to my city. You can see the cattle in the town. Walking right down the street. They look scary, too. They have the big old... they're called carabao. They're like giant cows with huge horns. But they just walk down the street. You might be frightened if you're a tourist, but no need to worry. Okay, we've only got a couple minutes left. Do you guys have any questions? Venice, particularly, I'm looking to you because you have a IELTS test coming up very shortly. Is there anything I can help you with? And not just about this, about anything on the IELTS test.
Well, yes, but I will speak about it later with you, if possible.
Later? Are we secretly meeting later, Venice, and I don't know about it? Oh my. Okay. Okay. Well, all right. Fine. Okay. What else am I going to say for the last minute? You guys, Julio, Aaron, you guys have any questions? about part 3 or anything at all about IELTS. This is wrapping up my 4-day series, so any crazy question you have at all, or not crazy question about IELTS, no.
Yeah, I have a question. If I choked, if I just got completely lost in the question,
Yeah.
what can I say, like, to start over?
Let me start over. That's what I would say. Hang on, wait a minute. And I would use expressive intonation. I say, hang on, wait a minute. Let's rewind. Let me start this over again. What I really want to say is, all right, if it were me, I would kind of make a joke about it. And I would say what we naturally would say. Wait a second, let me rewind. Let me start that again. And I would definitely use expressive intonation to do that because that's what we do. We do that in real life. So, yeah, heaven knows you've probably seen me do it teaching a class before. Wait a second. That's not what I meant to say. Let me start that again. Okay. Yeah, that was a
Great.
very good, that was a great question, actually. Okay. All right. Then I guess that will do it. That's all I have time for. Thank you very much for your presence and your participation. Sound like a minister. Thank you very much, and praise the Lord for the IELTS examination. And go in peace, my children. Bless you all. May you all have high band scores. Praise the Lord. Okay, thanks.
Thank
See you
Amen.
you.
guys soon. Amen. All right. All right. Take care.